guys, welcome to our real estate channel. I am Nelson-Hernandez from United Real Estate Advisors. I just finished making a video with my good friend Chris Cano from Movement Mortgage. This video was about the things that you should know before buying your house. I hope you enjoy. So Chris, I get a lot of questions as a realtor.
Right.
So what I did was I went through all these questions and I just narrowed it to 5 questions.
Okay.
So I think these are, you know, the top questions that people ask. So as an expert, so I'm just going to go through it and just give some tips.
All right.
So the first one that we got here is, this is the big one.
All right.
So a lot of times people will call me and say, Nelson, how much money do I need to buy my house?
Well, that's all relative. One, basically on what kind of house you want to buy.
Okay.
How much of a house you want to buy, right? But really it goes down to the minimum requirements that each loan program will require. So
okay.
Conventional first-time home buyer will require as little as 3% down payment. Again, 3% down payment. FHA could do 3.5% down payment for either first-time home buyer or second home buyer, so on and so forth.
But let me ask you, that 3%, what is that 3% off?
Purchase price.
Of the purchase price.
3% or 3.5% of the purchase price. Very
Fantastic.
important.
Okay.
That's down payment. There's 2 things that go into what it takes to do this transaction: is the down payment and the closing costs. Closing costs are generally 3% of the purchase price as well.
Okay.
So if you're talking about a first-time home buyer buying a $200,000 home, you're talking about 3% down payment, 3% closing costs. That's $6,000
Gotcha.
on the down payment, $6,000 on the closing side, meaning a total of $12,000 to do a deal for a $200,000 property.
Fantastic. So just basically 6% of the purchase price is
in total. Yeah.
That will be for your down payment and for your closing costs.
Correct. Keep in mind, closing costs is a generic 3%, or general, I should say, 3%. It could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less. There's a lot of factors that go into the closing costs. Down payment is not going to change. It's 3% or 3.5% of the purchase price, no matter what.
Fantastic. I know that there are a lot of programs out there as well to help buyers to contribute for seller closing and things like that. I'm sorry, for the buyer's closing.
Correct.
So when you start talking to your realtor or you're talking to your loan officer, just ask them, are there any programs available right now that could help me facilitate a little bit better, to buy my house? So just go ahead and touch base with your realtor or your loan officer. That for sure they'll be able to help you out with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So very good. Thank you. Next one is, this one I get to a lot. What kind of income do they need? So that same example that you did for about 200,000. What type of income should that buyer have?
Well, it's not just about the property that you want to buy, even though that's one part of it, right? Is how much money you want to borrow to be able to buy that dream home of yours. But it also goes hand in hand with your monthly debt, right? So there's ratios that we look at. We have to do calculations and all that. But we generally, for the most part, we don't ask for a specific monthly income. We mostly want to take a look at your work history. More importantly, your most recent 2-year work history. So we look at those factors and we do those calculations. And I myself, the way I like to do this is I try to max out whatever loan amount we're able to give you. So I calculate your income. I max out the loan based on that income that I calculated, and then I tell you what your max loan amount is. That does not mean that you have to use that loan amount, but at least you know what the ceiling is and you can go down from there.
Fantastic. And those 2 years, they have to be within the same line of business, or you could...
Best case scenario is that yes, it's in the same industry, same line of work, but we could work as long as we're able to piece it together and there's not big gaps over the last 2 years, big gaps of unemployment over the last 2 years. We could work with, if you're changing from job to job, you're just going to need a letter of explanation.
Fantastic. And what other type of documents do you guys request? Your W-2s? What else would you guys?
Yeah, so if you're a W-2 employee, we ask for your last 2 years of W-2s. If you're not a W-2 employee, if you're self-employed, we ask for your last 2 years of tax returns, business tax returns. Or if you're a 1099 employee, last 2 years of 1099s, including your tax returns. We also ask for last month of pay stubs. That's really the three main things that we ask for when it comes to just getting a pre-approval.
Fantastic, very good. And they can just go ahead and everything's done online, right? So they can go to the website, fill the application,
Correct.
and you'll send out an email with them with all the documents that they need, and just basically provide them to you via email.
Correct. Yeah, there's different forms of getting that information over to us. One could be face-to-face. Everybody's busy nowadays, so it could always be done through email or Movement Mortgage. We have our Easy app where you could just upload it right into the application.
Awesome. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I've seen that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
All right. So next question I have for you is credit score. FICO score.
Question.
Yes. So what do you think credit score should actually be to so I'm gonna break it down in two.
Go for it.
What should it be to actually be qualified for a loan, and two is what should be the best credit score that they need to get the best interest rate, the best loan possible out there.
So the bottom number is going to be a 580.
580.
580 credit score we could work with. That's going to put you into an FHA deal, but don't be afraid. It's still a deal. It's still something that's beneficial to you. You'll be able to buy a home, right?
And that's 580 for everybody that is in the application. So if there's a husband and wife, both of them have to have 580.
Minimum 580.
Minimum 580.
Correct.
Okay.
Everybody that's on the application for this loan has to have a minimum credit score of 580 to be able to get any kind of loan.
Okay.
Obviously, like I said, it's going to be an FHA deal.
Okay.
620 and up, we could put you in a conventional or FHA. We'll lay everything out for you, give you our best advice, and then let you choose from there. Now, as far as what you're talking about, what's the best that they can do? Obviously, the higher the credit score, the better interest rate you're going to get, right? But don't be afraid if you think that you have a bad credit score. Still give us a call. Let us do what we do best and try to figure it out for you. And again, don't be afraid. Even a 580 credit score could get you approved, and it's not hard to have a 580 credit
that's
score.
a good point that you bring up, Chris, because of we had a lot of people that have come up to us and said, Nelson, I want to rent, and my price range is going to be $1,600, $1,800, and before we actually put right around that range, before we put that person on the rental property, so you know what? Let's touch base with the loan officer real quick to see what your options are, and you'll be surprised how many people have come up to us and said, "Oh, I just didn't know that my credit score was a 670," and
Yeah.
So if you want to rent,
surprisingly have no idea what their actual FICO score is. So that's why I tell everybody, don't be afraid. If you think it's XYZ credit score, give us a call, let us know, let us do our job, and we'll figure it out for you, and I'll tell you exactly what your credit score is when it pertains to qualifying for this. Now, it's very important to understand, though, that it's not just about your FICO score, even though that's a major part of it. Right. It also has to do with your credit history. So very important is that you don't have any foreclosures in the last 3 years or bankruptcies in the last 2 years. That will allow us to fit you into a program that will allow you to then still purchase a home. So it's very important to have that good credit score history. Yeah.
So here we go. So let's say they have the down payment that they need, they have their income where they should be, right, and they have the FICO score where they should be. What's next?
Well, so once everything it's meeting the guidelines that we require, you do the application, you send me the documents that we require. I put it all together, I structure the deal, and I send it over to my underwriter to get a pre-approval. Now, our pre-approvals are underwritten pre-approvals, meaning that they look at all the factors that go with this, and so when they give us the approval, it means something. It means that it's basically as good as cash. Awesome. So once I receive that pre-approval from my underwriter, I get in contact with Nelson, I get in contact with you as the customer, I give you the good news, you guys start shopping around, you make offers, you get into the deal, into contract, and then we close.
What's the time frame for that?
With us, it's usually anywhere from 2 weeks to 30 days.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick, actually.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's why we have a system in place to get everything done as quickly as possible.
And nowadays, without that pre-approval, I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean, we have that's the first step. Yeah. That's the first step. Absolutely. Because you can't go out there trying to find a house if you don't know how much you can qualify for. So that's your number one step. 100%. Number one step is get pre-qualified, get pre-approved, like what Chris is saying.
Absolutely.
And then work with your realtor. Give that letter to them. Now you guys could go and start shopping around, look at the properties, the areas that you guys want. And that's basically as good as cash right there. That if you find the property that you like, boom, there you go. You
You
can
make
go ahead and
those
put that
offers.
offer.
You get into contract. Well, how long does it take for somebody to accept an offer like that?
1 day,
4 hours?
2
Yeah,
hours.
so-
It all depends on that house. I mean,
Once you have that pre-approval, that the hard work is done, right?
That's
After
awesome.
That, it's all the legwork on the realtor side, and we get you guys into contract and close. I mean,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, Chris, listen. Thank you very much. I just want to. Any other tips? Anything else that maybe they should be aware of?
Yeah, so I get a lot of family members and friends asking me, you know, I'm interested in buying a house in the next year. What should I do starting now to be set, you know, when it comes 12 months, 11 months down the line? And it's very simple. It's basically look at your monthly debt now, try to pay it down. What I mean by monthly debt, I mean credit cards, open lines of credit, period. You know, try to pay them down, get them as close to zero as possible. Don't necessarily close them because the age of your credit history matters. So as long as you keep the balance down to as low as zero as possible.
All right, Chris, man, that was awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for
Thank you
all
for
that
having me.
information. That was fantastic. Guys, do me a favor. Again, like I said, go ahead and follow us because we're going to be uploading a lot more videos. And if there's a topic of interest that you're not too sure of, hey, Chris, you know, Nelson, can you guys do a video on this? Put a comment on that and just go ahead and put the topic, and we'll be more than glad to go ahead and put a video for you.
Absolutely.
If you're looking for a house down here in South Florida, what area do we work? Cooper City,
Miramar,
Miami
Gardens,
Pembroke Pines, Miami Beach, Hollywood.
Hialeah Gardens, Miami Gardens, Pinecrest.
Man, we do a lot.
Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, you name it, we're there.
That's awesome. So just give us a call. Again, Nelson Hernandez from United Real Estate Advisors. Just send us an email, or you can call me at 954-866-2550. Again, 954-866-2550. And man, you know, we're making fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal, to make it easy for you guys.
Absolutely. Buying a house should be excited, should be fun.
Yeah,
should not be stressed out.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Awesome. Well, guys, once again, follow us, and we'll see you in the next video.
Take care.
Boom! Awesome.